No class.
పిల్లలు కొన్ని ఇచ్చి ఉండేది దగ్గర పెట్టుకోవచ్చు నాకు
Very good afternoon. So today is the first class for Python programming. We are going to discuss the things. First, we discuss the syllabus, which we are going to discuss. Here, the syllabus is the first we discussed regarding introduction to Python, and then we discuss regarding list, range, tuples in Python. Then after dictionaries, sets, and files and functions. So these are all the fundamentals of Python. And then we are going to discuss regarding object-oriented technology. And then Python regular expressions, then multi-threading concept, and regarding turtle module and tinker module. So these are all the things which are going to discuss in this Python class. So first we discuss regarding what is meant by Python and what is the use of Python and why we are going to use Python. So I think, am I audible? Any noise in voice? Okay, Andy. So I think so. Today we are going to discuss Python programming. Actually, the maximum students from engineering stream only, and all are from computer graduates or other branches also may be there. The thing is, the Python is common for all. So earlier, some programming languages are restricted to some people only, but here the Python is common for all, irrespective of department. Everyone is using Python programming. Either the people who are interacting with financial department, the people who are interacting with pharmacy, so civil engineering, mechanical engineers, social studies, everyone. So whoever the people who are doing in research, all are using Python programming. So that is the reason why all are preferring Python. So first we discuss regarding the history of Python. So what is Python and history of Python? Generally, we people know that the Python is the high level programming language. So the programming languages which are divided into three types. Yes, I will share the notes and I will share the notes to you people. You don't need to bother about that one. So when it comes to here, general programming languages, we can get classified into three types. So one is called low level programming language. Another one is called assembly level programming language. Another one is called high level programming language. So generally, when the computer started, these people work with low level programming language. Means here they are giving instructions to the system with the help of binary code like 0 and 1. With the help of these systems only, these two binary digits only, they are giving instructions to the computer, and they are doing some process. And at that time, so at that time, so these people are using very high capacity computers, but the functionality is very low. And you people know already, you people know that earlier computers are occupying one big room. But the thing is, they are using very less things. Here, when it comes to assembly level language, they are giving instructions to the computer. So in assembly level language, we are giving instructions to the computer using mnemonics. And you people having knowledge on microprocessor. So microprocessor programming is doing through assembly level programming. And then after they implemented high level programming language. So nowadays, which we are using all programming languages comes under high level programming language. So Python is also a high level programming language. And we're having different types of high level programming languages. One is called procedural language. So one is called procedural language. Another one is called structured programming language. Another one is called object-oriented programming language. And another one is called event-driven programming language. So whatever the high-level languages like C, C++, Java, COBOL, Python, all things comes under high-level programming language. But in this high-level programming language also, we are categorizing into 4 types. Procedural language. The first one is procedural language. So at the time of high-level programming language which they started, they implemented procedural language. So we can go with an example like BASIC. So BASIC is one programming language is there, which is an example for procedural language. So nowadays, you people are starting learning programming through C programming. But in the year of 90s, those computer graduates, they are starting their programming skills through basic programming language. It is a procedural language, and it may having some drawbacks also, but we don't need to discuss all things. And then after, they implemented structured programming language. And for these examples are like C, COBOL. These are, we call it as a structured programming languages. And later they implemented object-oriented. So when it comes to object-oriented technology, we may say like some C++ is there, Java is there. Okay, so Python is also, we can say. Like that, we are having some languages. This all comes under object-oriented programming. And next, event-driven programming is there. The programming languages which supports GUI, graphical user interface, comes under event-driven programming language. But when you're discussing with event-driven programming language, it must surely depend on these three languages. Means the combination event-driven will be combination of either procedural or structural or object-oriented. So for event-driven language, we can say that Visual Basic is there. Visual Basic is there. Now no one is using. Visual Basic is there. It is an example for event-driven, which is a combination with basic language. With basic language. And later we're having and we implemented different types of languages. So now what we are discussing regarding Python, Java, this all comes under object-oriented and the event-driven. .NET, these all things. So when it comes to programming, object-oriented technology is most important, and more programming languages are using object-oriented only. And when it comes to event-driven, it is a graphical user interface. Means earlier, when you are going to implement the program, it is having console user interface. Console user interface, nothing but we don't have any colors, we don't have buttons, and we are not going to interact with mouse, these all things. Simply, it is a programming, so whatever input you provided is going to give the output. Like we say that C programming. So C is a console user interface. When it comes to graphical user interface, everything will be having GUI, graphics is there. So like buttons, text fields, mouse pointer, so all things will be there. And user is interacting with in advanced level. So these are the programming languages. So when it comes to Python, what we said that it is a high level programming language. It is a high level programming language. We are saying that it is a high level programming language. And so, and we are saying that it is an interpreted. It is an interpreted. So we are saying that Python is interpreted. Interpreted means Python programming language is working with interpreter. So I think you people know regarding compiler and interpreter. So compiler and interpreter both are, yes, so both are converting the high level language instructions into machine level language instructions. So C programming is using compiler. Some programming languages, now we discuss regarding basic, it is using interpreter. So interpreter is line by line interpretation. Means here the source program is converting it to machine level language by line. Okay. So when it comes to compiler, it is going to convert the entire program into, it is going to convert entire programming into a machine level coding. Okay. So like that, we are saying that it is high level language and Python is using interpreter. So Python is using interpreter to convert high level language instructions into machine level language. And also I'm saying that it is interactive and object oriented scripting language, which we discussed in previous slide. So Python is having interactive and object oriented, means it supports interactive. Interactive means graphical user interface. And it is using object oriented scripting language also. So nowadays whatever the programming language they are implementing, so it should be an object oriented. So that is a basic thing. So whatever the programming language you're discussing, like Java, Python, others .NET, these all are implementing with object-oriented technology. In future also, if you're going to work with any programming language, maximum they supports object-oriented technology. Okay, and it is very easy to work with programmers and the programmer, so they no need to follow strict rules to implement the program. For example, when you're working with C programming, so there you're supposed to end the statement with semicolon. Okay, sometimes you may forget to implement that one. Okay, so due to the emergency, you may omit the semicolon process. Okay, so and you're supposed to maintain the block also, like begin and statements will be there. So every block will be having begin and end. Like that, we are having some rules and regulations. And the keywords which they are providing is somewhat different. So go to if file, some statements will be there. It is somewhat different to identify and somewhat different to use. Like to printing, we are using printf function. Okay, so printf is a function we are using to print the data. Okay, so print is okay. What about f? So that will be the difficult. But maximum Python is using English keywords. So frequently, where other languages are used punctuation. So whatever the English language we are using, whatever the general English language we are using, that words only they are using. Why? Because it should be an user friendly. Okay, so everyone should able to understand the program. When you see the programming, you can easily understand what is going on. So that is the Python. Okay, so here you should keep in mind that only three things. It is a high level, it supports object oriented, and it is interpreted. It is interpreted. So commonly in interviews they may call that either Python is using compiler or interpreter. You're supposed to say that it is interpreter. Okay, Python is using interpreter. And when it comes to history of Python, so actually early 90s the Python was implemented in it, but the thing is it was not that much popular. Why? Because due to some limitations. So Python is implemented so from many other languages like including ABC, Modula 3, C, C++, Algol 68, Smalltalk, and Unix shell programming. Okay, so based on these all things, whichever is the best one, they picked and they implemented in Python. But we are saying that in 90s itself, so Python was implemented. So C programming is implemented in 80s. Okay, so from the starting itself, everyone is using C programming. Now also we are learning C programming. So every computer graduate and every engineering student so is learning C programming by default. Then why they didn't start at Python? It is also started in 90s. Now we are discussing, and everyone is discussing Python. So irrespective of departments, everyone is discussing Python. When it comes to C programming, so maximum engineering graduates they may learn, and those are learning other computer professional courses like BSc, BCA, these people are learning C program. So, but pharmacy graduates are not learning C program. So financial students like BCom, MCom, BBA, BBM, MBM. So these students are not learning C program. But now everyone is learning Python. So pharmaceutical research graduate is also learning Python. So financial candidate is also learning Python. As usual, engineering graduates are computer graduates also learning Python. But it has not happened in the era of 90s or in the era of 2000 also. Okay. The thing is, they're having some drawbacks in earlier versions. They're having some drawbacks in earlier versions. That why it was not that much popular. So now it was very popular and everyone is looking on Python. So next, Python futures. So why the people are using Python and what are the features of Python? The first point is it is easy to learn. So we don't have any rules and regulations to implement the programming. When you're going with C programming, you must assuredly go with including header files. You're supposed to write main method and you're supposed to declare the variables. Okay, and then after you supposed to go with block statements, and these all things will be there. Every statement should terminate with semicolon, like that we are having. But here we don't have such type of things. Okay, so we don't have such type of things, and easily we can write the program. You don't need to bother about variables, about main method, these all things. Directly you can start your program, whatever you're thinking. Okay, and it is easy to read. It's saying that it is easy to read. Why? Because the maximum keywords which we are using in Python is picked from English. Means the general talk, whatever we are talking, the general words, from these words they are starting the program. That's why it is easy to read. Anyone can understand and easy to maintain also. Means you no need to install lot of things on it. Whatever you require, directly you can install it. Matter of 5 minutes it may require to install the Python software, and then after whatever the libraries you require, we can install one by one. And a broad standard library. So here the thing is Python is depending on libraries. So only Python is nothing. When it comes to only Python, it is nothing. I'm saying that pharmaceutical graduates are using Python, mechanical graduates are using Python, civil graduates are using Python, so financial graduates are using Python, everyone is using. How they are using means, for every domain, they're having their own libraries, which is helpful to implement their problem, which is helpful to improve their problem. So that's the thing. That's why I'm saying that the broad standard libraries. And whatever the libraries we implemented, these are portable. Means the library which is implemented in some operating system, it will work on remaining all operating systems. Assume it, myself, I implemented one library for some financial graduates. Means with the help of that library, they can find the solutions to their financial problems. Okay, so which I implemented in Windows operating system. But the person who is working with Unix operating system or else Macintosh also, they can utilize my library. So that is portable language. And you people know regarding portable TV. So a small TV, we are saying that it is a portable language. Why don't we call it as a small TV? So everyone is saying that it is portable TV. The reason is portable means easy to move from one place to another place. Easy to move from one place to another place. So here I'm saying that it is portable. So once you implemented a library in one operating system, you can utilize in remaining all operating systems without using any modification. Okay. So, and it is supporting interactive mode. It is supporting interactive mode. Means immediate results you can get it. Immediate results you can get it. Once the statement is completed, when you click on enter, automatically the statement is going to execute. and it is portable, already we discussed, and it is extendable. So if you required any modules, or if you require any, for example, I implemented on programming and it may require some additional modules, which is in low level programming, or else which is in an assembly level programming language, or else which is in some other programming. Like in C programming, I found my extension. So you can easily work with extensions. Okay. So, for example, extendable is nothing but when you are working with one programming language. For example, I implemented one programming in Python. Okay. But it is having some extensions. Extensions means whatever the problem I'm going to implement. So I found some solutions in other programming languages, like in C programming, okay, like in some other programming. Then you can extend that program, you can utilize that services in Python. So that facility is there. That is called extendable. So once I'm repeating, so I wrote one program in Python, unless I'm going to write one program in Python, but some functionalities which are already implemented in C programming or else some other programming. So you can easily add that program to our programming, our Python programming language. So that is extendable. Next, databases. So you can connect with databases also. So for example, when you require some database like MySQL or SQL Server or MS Access, okay, so you can easily connect that database with your Python code. So generally Java, .NET, these programming is languages are having that facility, but Python also having that facility. And it is a GUI programming, graphical user interface. And last thing is it scalable. Okay, so it supports very big applications only. So generally it may require large memories. It may require large memory. You can easily work with through programming language. So some applications are there. So those are having GBs of data only. Okay, so that type of GBs of data also we can work with Python programming. That is called scalable. Generally, assume it I'm having some 10 GB of data. Okay, I suppose to work with that data. When you're working with other programming languages, it will be very, very difficult, and sometimes your system is going to down. Okay, but in Python, it is not like that. Okay. So Windows MFC is nothing but it is one type of what we say that one type of library implementation in Microsoft only. Okay, and it is type of libraries. Okay, means simply we can say that Windows MFC is nothing but foundation class library. We can say that Microsoft Foundation class library. So which we are going to implement with the help of Visual C++. So those are having knowledge on .NET. They may having knowledge on Visual C++. So VC++ they are saying. So Windows is also having that type of support to implement these libraries. Okay, so we can use that libraries also. So these are the features of Python programming. So here we should keep in mind that simply the features is it is easy to learn, and it is portable, it is extendable, we can connect with the databases, and it is scalable also. So scalable in the sense you should keep in mind that so whatever the data it is having. So it may having more large data, even though we can work with in easy manner. And okay. The thing is your system should supposed to work on that one. Means your system should having some resources. And even though assume it, I need to work with some 30 GB of data. I need to work with 30 GB of data. In that situation, you may require heavy RAM and GPU will be there. So graphical processing system should be there. So if you don't have such type of resources with you, then Google is supporting Colab. There is Colab is there. COLAB. Google Colab is there. So with the help of Google Colab, you can work with Python programming. So you no need to install Python in your laptop or desktop or else in mobile. Directly, whatever the programming you require, you can work with Google Colab. So it is one of the things. So maximum researchers are using Colab only. Why? Because, for example, there is one application is there who is going to observe the human being movements and human being movements are there. So, for example, when you observe that now the government is implementing like the regarding mask. Okay, so everyone should wear the mask, and system is going to identify the person who doesn't wear the mask through cameras. So it is going to identify the images, and they are taking high res of the person, and they are connecting with the other server, and they are getting the information about that person. So such type of data is having number of GBs are there. So it is not like a 1 minute video or 2 minutes video. So total 24 hours video will be there. So among these 24 hours of video, and we are not getting from one single camera. So throughout city, we are having hundreds of cameras. So from these all hundreds of cameras, we're supposed to read the data, and we're supposed to identify the things, and we're supposed to send it to other server, and we're supposed to get the data. These all things are not possible with normal systems. So that's why we require more. But we people don't have such type of resources with us. In that situation, we can go with Colab. So Colab is a resource which you can supposed to work with machine learning applications, Python or machine learning. Okay. So generally, these are the features of Python programming. So I will show by end of the class, I will show regarding Colab also. Okay, how you're going to work, and these all things I will explain. Next. So recently we discussed regarding why in 90s Python was not that popular. So now it is very important. Everyone is using Python, but in 90s or 2000 years, no one is using Python. Very, 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 very less people are using. The only thing is those who require. But now everyone is looking. So why? Because earlier it is Python 2 only. Earlier it is Python 2. Okay. So earlier we are working with Python 2, and now we are working with Python 3. That is only the difference. That is only the difference. So here we observed some of the differences between Python 2 and Python 3. So actually, why the Python is most important? There is another point is there. So Python is having one community. Python is having one community. So in that community, everyone, they will discuss their problems. Whatever the problem they are facing with Python, means whatever the application they require, so they will discuss in Python community. So there is some persons or the senior people are there, so they will provide the solutions for all the problems which they discussed in that community. So, and new people also can get the information through that community, and the community is available on the website python.org. Okay, I will show after this slide, I will show regarding python.org. And when it comes to Python 2, very less people are utilizing services of Python. So that's why no one is discussing regarding Python. Why? Because they don't have libraries which is related to their domain. So when it comes to Python 3, the maximum people are implemented libraries to respective to their departments. For example, some people are implemented libraries which is helpful for pharmaceutical. Some people are implemented libraries which is helpful for civil engineering graduates. Some people are implemented libraries which is helpful for mechanical graduates. Some people are implemented libraries which is helpful for financial things. Okay, so some people are implemented libraries which is helpful for image processing, computer vision, these all things. Like that, everyone implemented their own libraries for their departments, for their research work. All libraries are available in this thing in python.org. So whoever required, they can additionally install that library and they can work on that one. So that's why Python 3 is more important. Now we are in Python 3 only, but the version is there. So up to last year in 2020, maximum companies they're using 3.7 only. So 3.7, and now they shifted to 3.8. But still, some companies are using 3.7 only. Why? Because when we people who are doing practice, we may install either 3.7 or 3.8 or the latest version also, not an issue. But who are working with a particular application, so whatever the application they are using, they may have some libraries only. So for example, I'm going to use some library like X. I'm going to use some library called X, which is implemented in 3.7. Which is implemented in 3.7. In that situation, I must and shouldly install 3.7 only. I don't have any option to go with either 3.8 or 3.9. Okay, so up to 2020, maximum 99% of companies preferred 3.7 only. Why? Because whatever the libraries they are using, the maximum libraries supports for 3.7 only. But now some libraries are implementing to 3.8. So whatever the companies they are using their libraries, if they implemented in 3.8, then they will shift to 3.8. So, but it's not like that. I can go with advanced version. If I go with advanced version, but my library X is in 3.7, I can't work with my application. So if that library X is implemented or going to update it in 3.8, and then now I can go with 3.8. Then now I can go with 3.8. Okay. So that is a version. That is a version. So in market, we may get advanced version, but you're not supposed to use that advanced version. It is depending on your library. If that library is updated in that latest version, then you can install and you can update your library and you can work with as usual. Okay. So that's the thing of choosing version only. And now we discuss regarding the difference between Python 2 and 3. Python 2 and 3. So when it comes to differences, the first one is print statement. When it comes to Python 2, when I'm going to display anything on monitor, generally I can go with statement called print. So for example, I can say print within quotations hello. So I can say print hello. Just a minute. So print hello I'm saying. It will execute in Python 2.0 up to 2.9. When it comes to version 3, it will be a function. Earlier it is a statement, now it is a function. Hello is a function. So you must and should keep it within brackets. You must and should keep within brackets. So when it comes to in version 2.0, it is a statement and simply I can say print space in quotations, I can give the message. When it comes to 3.0 or above, it is a function. So print, you're supposed to open the bracket and then the message. That is one difference. And second one is range and X range functions. So range and X range. There is a method called range. We call it as a sequencer. For example, if I say range of 5, if I say range of 5, it is going to generate the values like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when it comes to Python 2.0, we call it as a X range only. X range. It is renamed to range. X range to range. So in 2.0 or above, I'm saying X range. In 3.0 or above, I'm saying just range. So that is one difference identified between 2.0 and 3.0. Next, rising and handling exceptions. So already you people know regarding exception handling. In Python 2.0 or above versions, we don't have exception handling concept. But when it comes to Python 3, we found exception handling on it. So that is the difference between Python 2 and 3. So in 2.0 or 2. Up to 2.9, 2.x, we don't have exception handling concept. But in Python 3.0 or above, we have exception handling concept. That is one thing. Next one is division operator only. So generally, when you are applying division operator, the programming languages, for example, if I said like 5 by 2, the programming language will return 2 only. Actually, it is 2.5, but it will return 2 only. So it is happening in version 2.0 only. But when it comes to version 3.0, it is going to return 5 by 2 means it is going to return 2.5. That is the one difference between 2 and 0. It is happening in 2.0 and it is happening in 3.0, means 3x, 2x I can say. So that is one difference. When you are working with 2.0, 2.x, if you apply division operator, it is going to return only integer part. So the same thing is available in 3.x. It's going to return with float value, exact value. That's the thing. Next, strings. In 2.0, the Unicode strings are will having the, it starts the keyword with the. So yeah, the thing is, if it is an up to 2.9 and 2.x, I don't suppose to say 2.0, 2.x and up to 2.9, the same thing is happening regarding print method, regarding range, and in 2.x we don't have exception handling also. And division operator in 2.x it is going to return integer value only. So in 3.x it is returning with float point, means 5 by 2 if I say it is going to return 2.5. Okay, so we are discussing x only, 2.x to 3.x. So 2.99 also apply the same things. 3.99 also will apply the same things. Next one is, so when it comes to Python 3x, the syntax of the language becomes more user friendly. So the syntax, when you're going to use any functions or anything, it will be more user friendly. So you don't need to work hard to implement the things. Syntaxes are very easy. Okay, so these are the differences between Python 2 and 3. So you people should understand and should give some default differences. It is a default question they will ask, the difference between 2.x and 3.x. First one is in 2.x, print it is a statement. But when it comes to 3.x, it is a function. And in 2.x, to generate the values to sequence of values, we are using x range method. But in 3.x, we are using range method. And in 2.x, we don't have exception handling concept. In 3.x, we have. And regarding division operator, in 2.x, if we divide the value, it is going to generate only integer data. But in 3.x, it will give the exact value. Example, 5 by 2. 5 by 2. If I said 5 by 2 in Python 2.x, it is going to get the value 2 only. If the same thing 5 by 2, if I said in 3.x, it is giving 2.5. Okay. So, and the string versions also. These are the differences between 2 and 3. Next, we discuss how to install the Python only. So, if you are going to install the Python, you must should open the website called python.org. So, simply you open python.org. So, in python.org, so it is we are having Python. And here you may get about, downloads, documentation, community is there, success stories, news, events, and everything will be there. So in Python community, we can get solution for all the things on there. Okay, so whatever the doubts you have, you can clarify here itself. In the documentation also there. So we said that we're having different versions on Python. So we can get the total information regarding these versions. And when they're going to implement the new version, they will provide one documentation. So why they implemented and what are the updations they did. Everything you can find. And in download section, we can download it. So the latest version is Python 3.9.5 only. 3.9.5. But still companies are using 3.7 and some companies are using 3.8. Why? Because the only thing is, which I said, that based on the libraries. So libraries will rule us. So if I implemented 3.9.5, but when I'm going to execute some applications, it will not work properly. Why? Because the thing is, my library is implemented in 3.7. I'm utilizing 3.9.5. So my application doesn't execute. That's why. So you're supposed to install the Python version based on your application, based on your need. So what are the libraries you're using, based on that you're supposed to download. So here we can choose all releases. You can choose all releases. So here we can find different releases and we can download it. Okay. So for example, if you require Python 3.7, just to check it, here we are having Python 3.7.0. You can download here. Or else if you want 3.8.0, we can search 3.8.0 and you can download here. Okay. These are the standard editions. These are the standard editions. Okay, standard versions. So at any time you're supposed to download standard versions only. Don't go with like 3.9.5 like that. Go with either 3.7.0 or 3.8.0 or 3.9.0 also. Okay, and don't get these things. Why? Because for every small things they are implementing and they are releasing new versions only. But it is not good for us. Why? Because we are depending on our applications. That's why we're not supposed to download that type of versions. Go with standard versions only. Means if I said 3.7.0, go with 3.7.0 only, not 3.7.1 or 3.7.2 like that. If I said 3.8.0, go with 3.8.0 only. So, and everyone is using that standard versions only. Okay. So this is the way to install the Python into your system only. Okay. Next. So before into class, shall we take break, 5 minutes break if you require? Otherwise, we will continue. Okay. So now it is 5 o'clock. So by 5:10, we'll continue the session. Okay. Some people are asking break. So we'll go with break only. So 10 minutes break, we'll take 10 minutes break. Then after we'll continue the session. Don't log out. Okay. So keep here only. Don't log out. Okay. We'll continue the same thing. So within 10 minutes, we'll be back. Okay. And after break, we'll discuss the doubts session. If you have any doubts in the class, which we discussed in this 1 hour, okay, we'll discuss some 5 minutes of doubt session. Then we'll continue the remaining steps.
Yes. So if you have any doubts, you can mention in chat box. So 5 minutes we can spend the time for doubt session. If anyone have any doubts, just to mention it and then we'll continue session. Yeah. So I will show the procedure to download the Python in laptop. The first thing is you're supposed to open python.org. First, you're supposed to open python.org. So here you can find downloads session. I said that you're not supposed to download Python 3.9.5. You must and should download the version either 3.7 or 3.8. Okay, we'll assume it 3.7. You can go with all releases. And here you can find the releases. So here we can find the releases. So you can search here. So simply just click on Control F to find the version from 3.7.0. Here you can find it. Okay. And click here for download. So when it comes to here, and here we can get the files. When I click on download, again repeating, I clicked and downloaded all releases. Okay, so this screen is updated, and here I can find 3.7.0. 3.7.0. And you're supposed to click on download. Once you click on download, and here we can find the releases. Okay, so for operating system. So for Windows, you're supposed to find here. I'm having Windows x86 64 zip file is there. Executable installer, you're supposed to take it. So when you click on here, so it's going to install Python 3.7.0. So if you are working with a 32-bit operating system, then you can go with Windows x86 executable installer. So maximum people are using 64 only. So you're supposed to use Windows x86 64 executable installer. Okay. So this is the thing. And next one is exception handling functions are try throw. Yes, exception handling is having try throw catch blocks like in Java. Okay. Similarly here also we can find. So we'll discuss later on about that topic. Okay. So still any more doubts? So it is very small size only, so it doesn't require more. We'll check it. So it is having 124 MB. So 124 MB is not that much size only. Within matter of seconds we can. So 25 MB is there. Only 25 MB. 25 MB is there. So it doesn't require much space. Very less only you can use it. Okay. So still any doubts? Okay, so then we'll continue the class. Yeah, we can use the phone only. So in Play Store, just you search on Python, then we can find the things. Okay, you may find a different what we call the different APKs are there, means apps are there. We can choose whatever you want. You can choose it. You can download it and you can use it. So that is one of the advantages. In phone also, you can practice Python programming. The people who don't have laptops, they can go with phone also. Next, so Python identifiers, keywords, and indentation. So actually, the thing is, Python, not only Python, every programming language is having the concept called identifier. So every programming language is having concept of identifier, and every programming language is having concept of keywords also. And third one is indentation. It is in Python only. It is in Python only. So identifier and indentation is available on maximum all programming languages. But when it comes to indentation, it is in Python only. Okay. So now we'll discuss these all things. Already I said that Python is using the keywords like an English only. Okay. So it is having nearly 33 keywords and plus 2. 33 keywords are there in Python 3.7. Okay. Maybe in 3.8 or 9, they may change or they may increase or as it is will be there. But as per the regards of Python 3.7, we are having 33 keywords. The first one is like false is there. So what is false, we'll discuss later about it. Await, else, import, pass, none, break, except, in, rise, true, class. So false and true comes under Boolean, and these two comes under Boolean type. Okay. Await is one type of method. Else, which is used in if-else statement. Import. Import is used to import the libraries. So like include in C programming. So in C programming, we are using the include method. So like that, Python is having important. So like we are using some hash include stdio.h, like that we are using. Okay. Similarly, we are using import in Python. It is also a keyword, and you're not supposed to use it in any other operations. Pass is there. Pass is there. So that we'll discuss later regarding that one. It is used in programming itself with the indication of empty statement. Okay. And none is nothing but nothing. So you should capital with N. Break is there. Already you people know regarding break. Except is there. It comes under exception handling. In is there. Rise, it also comes under exception handling. True, it is a Boolean statement. Class, it comes under object-oriented technology. Finally, it also comes under exception handling. Is normal keyword. Return, it comes under functions. And it is a logical operator. Continue. So continue is not good. It works on looping statements only. For is a looping statement. Lambda, it is in Python programming. We'll discuss later regarding this one. Try, it comes under exception handling. As, it's also keyword. Def, so which is also to define the function. Okay, so already you people know in C programming we are using functions. Similarly, here also with the help of def we can create the functions. From, it's one type of keyword. Non-local is a keyword. While it is a loop. Assert is one of the word in Python. It is having good advantage. We'll discuss later about this one. Del, it is also one method in Python used to delete the objects and we'll discuss later regarding this one. Global, used to implement the global variables. Not, it is a logical operator. With is one type of keyword. Async is one type of keyword. ELIF, else if only. So it comes under if statement only. If is there, already you people know, or logical operator. Yield, it is also one of the best feature in Python programming. So here, almost all you people know regarding the things, but some which is most important, like yield is there, okay, assert is there, somewhat different things, and you're supposed to discuss it regarding lambda, okay, and everything is normal only. So these are the things. Async is there, okay. So some people they ask in interview questions regarding these things only, okay. So what is the use of lambda method? What is meant by assert? Why you are using yield? These things you can expect in interview questions, okay. So in briefly we'll discuss regarding these things, okay. So these are the keywords in Python. They're having 32 plus 2. 2 means total 35. So next is an identifier. Identifier is nothing but the variable. Identifier is nothing but, we can say, the variable or else the name of the variable. It may be the name of the variable, name of the class, name of the method, okay, means name of the function, everything. We call it as an identifier. For example, I'm going to define one variable. Then I will give one name. Okay, that name we call it as an identifier. I'm going to define a class. I'm going to give some name. That we call it as an identifier. I'm going to define a function. Function is having some name. That we call it as an identifier. So when you are defining an identifier, you should follow some rules and regulations. So in C programming will also, we are having such type of rules and regulations. Here, the rules and regulations are, the first one is the identifier should be the combination of letters, numeric data, and underscore. So these things only you're supposed to use. So you may use letters, you may use digits, and you may use underscore. So when you're going to define an identifier, should combination of these three things only should available. You're not supposed to use remaining things. Only combination of these three things only should available. And another thing is, it's not supposed to start with a digit only. When you're going to define an identifier, you're not supposed to start with a digit. For example, I'm going to define an identifier, one variable like x, x1 or else x1. x1 equal to 5. Okay, no problem. But you're not supposed to write 1x. You are not supposed to write 1x. It is wrong. So you can use the digit in between the identifier or end of the identifier, but not supposed to start with identifier. So you're not supposed to start the identifier with digit. That is one condition. And another is keywords cannot be used. So which we discussed, merely 35 keywords are there. So you're not supposed to use these keywords as an identifier. Means these keywords should not be a function name, should not be a class name, should not be a variable name. And you're not supposed to use additional special characters except underscore. Okay, like @ hash, dollar, these things are not allowed. And an identifier can be any length. There is no restrictions. So whatever the size of identifier you want, you can take it. It may be 5 characters or it may be 500 characters. But the thing is, should combination of these three things only. That should keep in mind. Next one is indentation. So which is one of the most important topic in Python programming. So generally, the program itself is having the block of statements. When you are defining one program, it will be the block of statements. For example, I'm going to write one small programming like not directly. I'm starting with int a equal to 5, b equal to 4, from c equal to a plus b. Printf. The result is C, C. So this is C programming, and the statements which are available within the floor braces, we call it as a block. We call it as a block. The statements which are available within the statement, we call it as a block. So whatever it may be, if we define within the open and closed floor braces, we call it as a block. But in Python programming, we don't have such type of floor braces. We don't have such type of floor braces. So when you're going to define a block, then you should use indentation. Indentation is nothing but providing the spaces. Assume it, this is the screen. Assume it, this is the screen. I'm going to start the statement from here itself. I want to make some block of statements. Some 2-3 statements should come under one block. Then we'll give some gap. And we'll make it as these 3 statements as one block. So this is a gap I gave. And all the 3 statements will come under in this line. And these statements are comes under this line. Again, the remaining statements I start with here itself. Okay. So these statements are common statements, and that comes under global block, and this is comes under separate block. So to define that type of block, I'm using indentation. Indentation is nothing but giving gap. So some spaces I supposed to mention. So by default, it is having 4 spaces. Indentation is having 4 spaces. And if you didn't mention, automatically it will take also. Means you don't need to give the spaces. When you type the program, automatically the Python is going to take indentation itself if you require the block. If you don't require, then automatically it will come out. So this is one thing in Python programming. So the most of the programming languages uses braces to define block of code. But Python is using indentation for defining the block. Okay. So the code of block will start with indentation only. And once the code is completed in that block, then it will go with unindented line. And unindented line is starting line, this line from starting. So the amount of indentation is up to you, but it must be consistent throughout the block. So actually I said that generally it will take some 4 gaps and 4 lines of gap, 4 spaces it is going to take. If you want 5 spaces, you can take. If you want 8 spaces, you can take. Okay, it is up to you. But you mention the same, you should supposed to mention the same indentation for all the block of statements. That you should keep in mind. So here you should keep in mind that regarding indentation only. Why? Because identifier, keywords, these are the common. Every programming language is having. But you should concentrate here indentation. So Python is using indentation to define the blocks. What is my indentation? It is giving some gap between our statement. So how much space it is giving? 4 spaces by default. It may go with 6 spaces or 10 spaces, are up to you. It is not restricted. But by default, it will take 4 spaces for indentation. Okay. So this is about keyword indentation and identifiers. Next, comments and document interlude in Python. So generally, when you are working with Python programming, not only in Python, every programming is supports comment section. May know the use of comment in any programming language. This comment is not restricted to the Python or Java only. Every programming language is having comment section. May know the use of that one. Why we are using comments? What is the advantage of comment? Detailed information. It gives more clear information about the program. Okay. Or that line. Okay. So, still any more? Hash mark of the statement. Okay. I'm asking what is the use of comment? Easy to understand the program. Okay. Okay. So the thing is, when you're going to implement the program, the maximum our intention is should be our programming should be user friendly, no complicated. So your program should not contain more complexity. So when it comes to complexity, the thing is, I supposed to use some logic. It is up to myself. So I know how to write the logic. I know how to write the logic, and I wrote the program, and it is successfully running. If someone opened my logic, they may understand or they may not. Assume I'm using one statement like to find out area of the circle. I supposed to use some formula like I use some area equal, sorry, a equal to, okay, so 3.142 into some r into r I use. So I don't know what is this formula. I don't know what is this formula. So where it is going to use. In that situation, so I want to give the more information to user who are going to read my program. Then what I said is, so in the similar line, I can give the comment, it is formula to find out area of circle. So if I give like that, if I give like this, then they can easily understand. They can easily understand. So if you want to describe something regarding a particular statement or else regarding program, then we can go with comment. So Python generally is using two types of comments. One is called hash. It is single line comment. Is single line comment. So whatever the comment you are writing, you should be a single line. Okay. So once the line is over, then it will not consider. Means once you press enter, it will not consider as a comment. And Python is having another type of thing called docstring. So that supports multi-line comment. So that is combination of three quotations. And whatever the comment you want, you can write it and end with three quotations. It may be single quotation or double quotation, as you wish. So it will start with quotations, three quotations. Okay, it will start with three quotations and end with three quotations. These quotations, it may be a single line or multi-line. I will show you. So just I'm going to open the Python. So I said that some a equal to, so 3.142 into some radius of 5 I gave into 5. So I want to give the information regarding this statement, simply hash, so formula to find out area of circle. So this statement I can get it. When I said A, I will get the result. Similarly, if you want to work with multiple statements, so this is a single line. If you want to work with multiple lines, then go with three quotations. It may be single or double quotation. And whatever you want, you can write it. Okay. And then end with three quotations. Now the comment is completed. These three quotations, it may be single or double also. For example, three double quotations I am giving. Then I am starting. I am ending with three double quotations. The comment is completed. So this is about comments in Python. If you are working with single line comment, go with hash symbol. And if you are working with multi-line comment, go with quotations, three quotations. It will be single quotations or double quotations, as you wish. So this is about comments and documentation section in Python. Quotations means hyphen symbols, hyphens. So that we call it as a okay. So we'll go with next concept. Now we'll discuss with how to write a Python programming. So how to write a simple Python programming. So to write a Python programming, we may having different alternatives. So if you people are working with only Python, then you can install the Python, which I explained earlier through python.org. So you can do practice and you can work on them. But those people who are working with some machine learning applications like that, they may work with Python itself, or else they may work with Anaconda. So there is a software called Anaconda. Okay, if you install Anaconda, then it will automatically install Python and some dependent libraries, which is helpful to you. It automatically installs. And later, if you require any additional libraries, then you're supposed to install that. So I will show you regarding Anaconda. So Anaconda, ANACONDA.org, I think so. Anaconda.org. And here also you should know which version Python is using. Okay, download Anaconda. So we are having options here. So see products. If you see products, then you can get the list. What are the products you are having? So it is a free version only. So individual version you're supposed to install. In products, you can go with individual version. Okay. Click on download. And here we can find 64-bit or 32-bit. But the thing is, it is using Python 3.8. It is using Python 3.8. So if I want to work with 3.7, then go with archives. Here we can find archives. Just to click on archives, and here we can find the solution. The previous version is having like 5.3, Anaconda 3, 5.3, which is having 5.3, which is having Python 3.7. We're supposed to work on that one. Okay. So those people who are going to work with machine learning applications, so will prefer Anaconda. Okay. So otherwise, the problem with this Anaconda and these all things are libraries are some people and some systems may be compatible with some libraries and some systems may not compatible with libraries. That is also one issue may rise. Then what is the solution? A simple and easy solution is work with Colab. So you no need to install the libraries only. Every library is available on Colab. So no need to bother about that one. You no need to install the libraries, you no need to install the Python, and you no need to do anything. Just you should have internet, that's all. And everything is taken care by Colab. So just Google it. It is a product of Google only, COLAB, Colab. So research.google.com Collaboratory. Just click on that one. Okay. So you should log in with your Gmail account, means Google account. Okay. And everything will be saved. So I think I did some programs. Everything is there. Whatever the programs I executed, everything is there. Okay. If nothing is there, then no problem. Just when you click on Colab, it will appear like this. Here, click on New Notebook. Just click on New Notebook. And here we can work with your application without any tension. Means you no need to bother about your libraries and your things. Directly you can execute here. And you can give the name for this one, means the program name. For example, PROG1 I am giving. Okay, whatever it may be, you can give. New, when you open Colab, automatically it will display the library ending. For example, just work with this. Okay, by default it will come, and here you can get new notebook. So if this one is not available, just go with file, new notebook. Here also you can get it. File, new notebook. So everything is installed here itself. You no need to bother about Python versions, so your libraries and everything is available. Okay, you no need to bother these all things. Directly we can execute your program here. So these are the ways to run your application. Okay, so I'm having IDE. I will show how to work with program. So when you open the Python IDE, it will show like this. So 3 greater than symbols will be there. 3 greater than symbols will be there. And you can execute whatever the program you want, you can execute here. For example, I want to perform some addition of 2 numbers and I want to display the result. Simply, we can say that some a equal to some 5 and b equal to some 3, and I can execute c equal to a plus b, and then I suppose to print the result. So result printing can be done with the help of print method. So we discussed the differences between 2.0 and 2.x and 3.x. Okay, in 2.x we are using print statement, means I can write print hello like this, but it doesn't apply. Okay, so why? Because here print is a method. So simply I'm saying print result is. So it is showing the syntax here itself. Okay, you no need to remember the syntax. If you want full-fledged syntax, it will show here itself. Some result is, simply I'm giving comma C. So I got result is 8. So like that, we can write the Python programming. But the thing is, whatever you wrote the program here, it was not safe. Means in future, if you want to open the program, you can't find it. Why? Because it directly worked with interactive section. So it is an interactive form only. Means whatever you want, immediately you can get the result. For example, I said that some 2 plus 3, I got the result. Some 5 by 2, I got the result. Okay, like this. And if you want to save the content, whatever you typed, then you go with script mode. How it is happened means just click on file menu and go with new file. Here we can type the program and you can execute it. For example, some a equal to some 4, some b equal to some 2, c equal to a plus b. So print sum is comma c. So just you're supposed to save the program first of all. So go to file menu and click on save or save as you wish. So Python programming is having extension .py only. Okay, just simply I'm saying prog some 7. Okay, so Python programming is having extension .py. So just I save the program and then I supposed to run it. Click on run and click on run module. Click on run and click on run module. So I got the result, sum is 6. Directly I got it. So earlier also I did the program. Earlier also I wrote the program. Same program I wrote there itself. But the difference is here it was saved in hard disk. In future, if required, you can use that one. Okay. So that's the big difference between. And next when it comes to Colab. Same thing we can work in Colab also only. So here the cell is there. Here I can write some a equal to some 5, enter, b equal to some 2, c equal to a plus b. So print sum is comma c. Once after completion, just click on this button. After completion, just click on this button. Then it is going to execute. I clicked right here. Once it is executed, then I will get the result here. So still it is processing. So I got sum is 7. If I do modifications, then automatically again I supposed to execute it. Just click on this one. Sum is 30. Like this, you can execute your programming. Okay. So this is about today's session. and tomorrow we'll continue with new topic. Okay. So if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. So you can ask in chat box if you have any doubts. No. Okay. Okay. So shall I close the session? Shall I conclude it today? But tomorrow by 4 o'clock again we'll continue the session. Okay. Yes. To use the collab, you're supposed to log in with Gmail ID. Okay. Why? Because everything will be saved in your Google Drive. Okay. So automatically it will ask just you log in, or else maximum browsers are automatically work with Gmail accounts. If you are having Chrome, automatically it was with your Gmail account only. So automatically it will take that one. If it is not having, then it will ask to log in. Just to suppose to log in with your Gmail ID password, then it will enter into Collab. It is also product of Google only. You don't need to bother about regarding security. So it is product of Google only. Then nothing will happen. Yeah. So we'll give the question. We'll try to give an assignment after some 3 to 4 units. Okay. Why? Because today what we discuss is totally theoretical concept. So that's why. So we can't give. So we'll give the task once the programming part everything is completed. Then we'll give the task. Okay. So every day you may get the tasks. Okay. And final you have an assignment test. So based on that test, you may get certificates also. Okay. So today we don't have task. So mostly you can expect from tomorrow or after tomorrow. Still in doubts? Okay. So then we'll wind up the session today, and tomorrow we'll continue by 4 o'clock.